No guessing, just catching. New Explore Series fish finders keep you locked on fish with unbeatable clarity, best-in-class imaging options, and a stunning ultra-bright HD screen. There's more to explore, only with Humminbird.
Dave Anderson here with the Fisherman magazine. It's January 16th. These are your headlines. Pretty much everyone who's fishing this week is doing it through a hole in the ice. But we do have some open water options for you guys as well. We also have 2 New England shows coming up. Stay tuned for all that and more on this week's New England Fishing Forecast.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Before we begin, we've got a few news items for you guys. First one is about those New England shows. We have 2 of them this weekend. We have the Connecticut Surfcasters Demo Day, which will be on Saturday the 18th. Runs from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's $5 to get in. It's at the Clinton Town Hall in Clinton, Connecticut. And there's a long list of plug builders at this show. There's a bunch of manufacturers, a few tackle shops. You're also going to get to take in a seminar on targeting giant striped bass on soft plastics by Toby Lipinski. It's a really great show. Another one with that old school flea market feel. Gotta love it. And then we also have the Hartford Boat Show, which is going to be at Mohegan Sun from Thursday through Sunday. You can go to their website, hartfordboatshow.com, to get the show hours and all that good stuff. I'm going to be there all 4 days. I'll be renewing and taking new subscriptions. We'll be giving away the awesome giveaways we have this year, which are Danko pliers. They run in a value about the same as the $31.95 subscription cost, so you're pretty much getting your subscription for free. And these pliers are super sturdy, you know, I think a lot of anglers are going to love having these, so definitely come and say hello, check us out there, and renew or sign up for a new subscription. Next up, we have Jenni Ackerman's latest installment of Open Boat.
Guten Tag, howdy howdy. We're back with Open Boat, part 2 of the Winner's Circle. Let's go. Now, the second week challenge was to catch a fish on a popper. Could be a Polaris, could be a pencil, could be a hybrid, whatever floats your boat cap, you're throwing it and you're catching on it. So let's get right into it with the first picture of Photo Creds. I took the picture of my good friend Sean Smita. He caught this nice striper on a pencil popper. That was a fun day of running up and down the beach in waders, trying to catch the fish in a quick peanut bunker blitz. So anyone, I mean, I'll challenge anyone to a marathon sprint on the beach in waders, and I think I would win because I built a lot of endurance this fall run season, just sprinting up and down the beach. That's what happens when you don't have a buggy pass, or your friend that you're carpooling with, I won't name any names, drives past you to chase after the blitz and leaves you in the dust. So that's always a fun time, but you can really get your steps up, especially fishing on the beach. Moving along to Long Island, we have Bob Duggan with this nice fish caught on a popper, and he left a nice message saying that I saw your video YouTube segment on pencil poppers, one of my favorite lures. You had some nice gear on your surf belt and made a very smooth cast. Literally, thank you, making me blush here. Attached is a photo of a keeper slot striper, one of 2 I recently caught on the local Long Island South Beach using a white 8-inch Gibbs pencil popper. And he said that he got some intel from his good friend and fellow fisherman, Mike the Mailman, potential relation to Bob the Garbage Man, just working different jobs, I don't know. He said that he delivered a text saying that birds were working in the water, so I had to investigate, as you should. And it was such a pleasure to catch them on my G. Loomis surf rod and pen reel. That is a classic combo that is a staple for many fishermen for years and years and years and decades. And he knows that he's working the surface lure correctly when the seagulls are hovering. So if the seagulls are gonna want to attack your pencil, then the fish are gonna want to too. So it's doing the right job. That's the one big thing with walking the dog on the surface with a pencil popper. Going back to New Jersey, we have Mark Soley with this nice fish on a white pencil popper. Love to see it in the wash and everything. Still keeping it in New Jersey, we have Paul Finken with 2 nice stripers caught on, it looks like a hybrid pencil popper. I'm not gonna be guessing any of these names here of the brands and stuff, but these are really nice fish too. Really nice fish caught off the surf. Love that you can see the boats in the background and everything. Nice, perfect like flat day for using a top water lure. And then we have Andrew McCon of Pennsylvania caught this nice fish on another same style pencil popper right there. And moving on, we're still in New Jersey. We got a lot of Jersey submissions here. We have Rich Flanagan walking up the beach with a nice one on a pencil. And following that, we have Sebastian, whose social media is Fishing with the Polish Guy. A nice fish caught on a pencil right there. And then we have Adam Cruz of New Jersey, another fish. And also it's a really nice scenic picture too, so cahoots to you. And following that, we have from New England, They Live You Sleep Fishing with a nice fish caught on an Outcast hybrid popper. I can recognize that. Outcast makes nice lures. I like their stuff. It's pretty work. Following, we have a boat entry. We have James Heaney of New Jersey with a striper caught on a pencil. I mean, you can't beat a top water bite off the surf, but on a boat too, it's just absolutely spectacular. Keep it in New Jersey, we have Chris Letcher, and he said that he landed this beautiful overslide in Ocean County on what I call the mutt. Inspired by the great Larry Dahlberg, I mold and recast some favorite lures and incorporate the features I like from several others. So he's making like a Frankenstein pencil lure here, but that's really cool to modify and take your favorite lures and make them into one Frankenstein lure. And he says, you'll be amazed at what you can catch with resin, properly bent bicycle spokes, and some dollar store nail polish. So let's take another look at that lure right there. That's honestly like pretty work for a homemade lure, and extra points for you for catching it on a homemade pencil. That's not that easy to do, making lures. It's something I don't even know if I would even dare to get into, but if you know the talented New England editor Dave Anderson, he makes lures all the time through Surf Asylum. So he's very skilled with that too, so it takes a lot of work. Moving on, we're still in New Jersey. We have Vance Slosher, age 9, caught 2 nice fish on a pencil. I'm not gonna say if he skipped school though, but it's fine. I know a lot of kids this fall run season were taking some sick days to get out and fish the surf, and big cahoots to you, Vance. You definitely get bonus points. All smiles there. I love to see it. Still in New Jersey, we have Andrea Spinola with a nice sunrise fish on a pencil, and honestly, a really cool custom you got there. I love looking at when people send me fish pictures and the rod's like laying in the sand next to it. I love zooming in and looking at your custom work because I build my own. Interesting color combo with the neon green and the grape purple. I really like that. And there's a mermaid decal on the top too, and the grips are really nice. So pretty work on the custom rod, whoever made that. If you made that for yourself, I mean, cahoots to you, good job. And then we have a submission from Cookie in New Jersey. You got a classic lineup of fishermen behind him too. Sticking it back to New Jersey, this was a really cool entry. So his name is Peter Bechtel. Sorry if I butcher your last name like anyone in this, and his wife Ruth. And they are from Mozambique, Africa. And he says that he follows the Fisherman Magazine New Jersey channel even when he's out of the USA. He says he's semi-retired and spends 5 months in the US and the rest in Africa. He says that he loves the Jenni and Jim show. So Jim, you're getting a little shout out here too. And he says that he fished New Jersey a lot when he was a kid, grew up in Cape May Point, and then he went to Africa in 1982 to work for the African Nature Conservation. So he just started fishing back in New Jersey, and here he is with a nice big fish on a pencil, and even his wife Ruth got into it. She caught a little shark, but that's, the stretch of the Fisherman Magazine going all the way to Mozambique. So that's really cool that we have subscribers that go the distance to catch a striped bass. And then we have, moving on, we have Jason Diamond with a nice bass caught on a pencil. And last but not least, we have Chris Letcher again, caught a nice bass on a pencil, but he gets bonus points because not only did he catch fish off the beach, he watched my episode of picking up garbage on the beach. Let's go, Chris. Thank you for picking up garbage and throwing it in the trash where it belongs. Everyone should be doing this. I mean, this is like the bigger aspect to it. I might do next year a similar thing where you send in pictures of you throwing away trash on the beach, just so I know you're doing it so you don't get coal in your stocking. But picking up trash on the beach for spending the amount of time you're on the beach fishing could equate to cleaning a whole beach. I mean, there should really be, I'm considering like trying to do like a surf caster's beach sweep. I know a lot of guys along the coast are doing it, but if you have, or if you're in a fishing club, do it. Like literally give it a shot. Clean the beaches, keep it clean, because that's crap could be washing up into the ocean, and stripers sifting the sand for sand eels could be getting that in their system, and we don't want that. The future stripers are at such a risk with everything going on from, I don't even want to, the can of worms. I don't even want to get into it, you know, but the future of the fishery for every single marine fishery species is so important. So, you know, keep it clean, clean the beaches, keep it clean. And that will end it for the part 2 with poppers for the winner's circle. So thank you guys for that, for entering everything for that. And we're gonna go through week 3 with your favorite lure. So if you didn't submit anything yet for the final part, you can literally like just take a picture of, like go through your camera roll and see what fish you have from the fall run season. And if you want to get in on it, just submit that, email me. There's no deadline on this until the video airs. So next week, you know, that's your limit. So probably give it till like today after this video airs, and then just email me. Just jackerman@thefisherman.com. You know the drill. So if you want to get featured, then shoot me an email. Thank you guys, and I'll see you all on next week's Open Boat.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
And the last thing, of course, is the giveaway. We got 2 weeks left in this one. This one's going to wrap up on January 29th. Starting to see some ice fishing photos coming in, and some of these photos are quite good. So there's by no means is there a clear winner, but we are starting to build a nice little cache of good photos for this contest, which is great to see. We're going to give away a flat glide needlefish made by me, and we're going to give away some NLBM paddle tails as well. All you have to do is compose a nice photo and send it in to me at danderson@thefisherman.com, or text the photo to the number on the screen and just give me the pertinent details, like the angler's name, where it was caught, how big the fish was, what it was caught on, you know, those kind of things. Get them in to me, we'll get you in the contest, probably get you in the magazine, might get you in the report, and if you're lucky, you're going to win an awesome prize. Moving over into the reports now, as you might have guessed, pretty much all bodies of water in northern New England are frozen over at this point. The only ones that aren't are the really big ones. But we've been seeing all different species of fish coming out of the North Country. We've seen lake trout, rainbow trout, we've seen pickerel, we've seen some really nice largemouth bass, seen some smallmouth bass, all types of panfish. Ice fishing is just going off right now, and that continues down into the southern half of New England as well. And as we cross the border into Massachusetts, we'll start things off with Kevin Huang from Surfland Bait and Tackle.
Hey guys, Kevin from Surfland Bait and Tackle checking in on the weekly report. With the cold, there's been a lot of safe ice around, but I would be still super extra careful when you're testing out some ponds and lakes that you get out on. Just make sure you have your safety picks on you and you chisel. Make sure that the ice is thick enough to get out on. Even though, you know, that the lake or the pond might be frozen, you have to take all the extra precautions because it's better safe than sorry. And then deep sea wise, the weather hasn't been letting off, so the trip's been canceled, and then they've been going out, and then they're getting canceled. But every time that they went out, they're still catching bottom fish, and the fish are still around. if you can get out on one of those trips that are still going, it's definitely worth it if the wind lets off a little bit. But fishing, you know, this is that time of the year where it's like hard water, or you can, like I said in multiple episodes, carp. Any open water, if you can find that's carp territory, they eat all winter long. I mean, it can be 0 degrees out. You can still catch a carp if you can deal with a little bit of ice on your line. But I'll see you guys next time.
Now we're going to check in around Boston Harbor with Danny Parma from Fish Bucket Sport Fishing.
Thanks, Dave. Dan checking in with this week's report. Not much going on. Last weekend we were trying to get out on the party boats, and the wind picked up on Saturday and canceled the Sunday trip. You know, this time of year, it's hit or miss. You really got to pick your weather window when you want to get out there. They did reschedule. They're running trips on Friday from 6 to 6 and on Sunday from 7 to 7. Walsh's Deep Sea Fishing out of Lynn. The American Classics the boat. And if you're trying to get offshore, it's the only boat we got. Hopefully weather permits and we can get offshore and do some ground fishing. I did just book my ticket for the Meredith Fishing Derby coming up a couple weeks. So hopefully I can get out there on the ice and get some footage and maybe even win a prize. That's what I got for you guys. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Heading inland to central Massachusetts, last week there was some question about how much safe ice there really was. At this point, there is no question. With the exception of maybe some of the largest ponds, safe ice is spreading across all of central Massachusetts. We've seen a lot of the same stuff. Seen a lot of nice largemouth, a lot of big pickerel, some good panfish, and plenty of trout. And as we head further west, the ice just gets thicker. And now we're going to check in with Roy Leyva.
Hey Dave, Roy Lytle here, checking in from Western Mass. We've got plenty of ice, though I do urge some caution because there still is some open water. That wind has been, even though it's diminished from what we had last week, it's been on and off. So there is some open water areas. There's areas that are not as thick as some other parts of the lake or the rivers. Obviously, those are, moving waters, always big cautious, no matter how cold it is. Talking about moving water, I got out on the Connecticut River this weekend and shot my luck at trying for cats, and actually did pretty good. I was very impressed. It's my first time fishing the Connecticut River here in Massachusetts for channel cats. I ended up with one really, really big fish, 2 fish for the day, but one of them was really exceptional. I've got some battle wounds here from having to noodle it through the 8-inch hole to get it through. Didn't put it on a scale, but I'm pretty sure bet that it's over 10 pounds. Other than that, I've seen a lot of guys get a lot of pike. I've been doing a lot of pan fishing in between, and that's been phenomenal. Some really big crappie, sunfish, yellow perch, the usual. I haven't gotten around to any trout fishing, but as we can see, my feed both on Facebook and Instagram has just been loaded with people fishing across the state. So we've got ice, and it's just going to get better. So, don't jump out there and get right to it. Ease your way out. Always check the ice. I had a few spots I fished this week that I'd drill a hole, there was 6-7 inches, and then I'd walk 20-30 feet, and there was only 3. And right now, some places got a little snow cover over it, so you can no longer see through that really nice black ice that we had. So Roy Leyva from Western Mass. Catch you guys next week. Peace.
Even heading back toward the Cape in southeastern Massachusetts, we've had safe ice through the weekend. What I'm seeing here, we're in Rhode Island here, but as you get closer to the coast, the ice gets a little more iffy. So the ice behind me is probably safe if you could get onto it. But around the edges, I just tried to walk on it because I wanted to shoot this video from the ice. And I got the little, saw the water swelling some of the cracks and created some new cracks and said, you know what, I don't want to film myself falling through the ice. So you know, it's on the Cape and in coastal areas, the ice is not quite as safe, except on those, you know, smaller sheltered ponds, especially if you have a place that's sort of in the shade of some trees or a big hill or something like that. But over the weekend, we had safe ice on many of the smaller ponds on the Cape, and that created an incredible run on shiners. Every tackle shop I talked to said that they sold out of shiners. Red Top sold over 5 pounds of shiners just on Saturday alone. And the result was really great fishing. A lot of nice bass coming through the ice out there, plenty of panfish and some trout. But the cool thing about the Cape is, you know, we have these kettle ponds. They're very, very deep ponds that just don't freeze over as quickly as the others. So if you're not the type that wants to go drill holes, you can open water fish out on the Cape. You just got to typically go out a little bit further. So getting out to Nickerson State Park, or places like Sheep Pond or some of the other ones out toward Truro and Eastham, you got open water. So you can pick your poison. You can drill holes or you can go out with the rod and reel, and either way, the fishing's been solid. Heading back over the canal into southeastern Massachusetts, a lot of the same. We saw some nice fish coming out of the Plymouth area that were caught through the ice. And, you know, just like everywhere else, we've had a little bit of a change in the weather. It looks like it's going to get a lot colder again, but you want to keep your spud bar in hand as you're making your way out onto the ice, because you don't want to put yourself in a life-threatening situation. And that's what I have for you guys in Massachusetts this week. Crossing over into Rhode Island, same deal. You know, as you get closer to the coast, the ice is maybe going to be a little bit more iffy until we get some more colder weather. So you're going to want to proceed with caution. But interior portions of Rhode Island are seeing great ice fishing action. Seems like the dominant species in Rhode Island has been the largemouth bass. We've seen some really nice ones coming out of several ponds around Rhode Island. We've seen some trout coming out through the ice as well. And for a little bit more on all that, let's check in now with Jeff Sullivan.
What's up, Dave? What's going on, guys? Jeff back for the weekly video. So this week, I'm going to show you a little secret of mine that I've been holding for a while now, and that is the marabou jig. And the marabou jig, it's so simple, so subtle, and so stealthy at the same time. It catches a lot of fish, an array of multi-species, any time of the year. It's just a fish catching machine. It is a deadly weapon in the Midwest, it is a deadly weapon in the Northeast, and it is a deadly weapon from all around the world. I know the guys out in the Midwest love to use these. I love to use them. I use them a lot for trout. So I like picking these up in the cold water because they're very subtle and they're a very good cold water bait. They'll work all year round, no matter what, but they're a very good cold water bait. They excel in cold water. They just have a very sleek profile to them. They have that nice profile with a very small action in the back with that cold water. It's not too much action. It just entices bites. It's like a power finesse fishing technique. You know, it's like having a bucktail in the surf. So I've just been tying these up like crazy, trying to figure out what Mother Nature's trying to give me here, because we don't have safe ice. We have ice. We have some safe ice in some places. But the places I'm trying to target don't have safe ice yet, but it's working on it. So, I mean, the stability in this weather is good for ice building. But if not, you know, I got some rivers I have my eye on, and I have a plan B. So, with that being said, I've just been using the time, Dave, to tie up some marabou. And if you guys aren't cold weather fishermen or don't want to even sniff the cold weather, I don't blame you. But marabou jigs work in warm weather too. So get yourself a fly vise. If you already have one, get some marabou, get some little heads, jig heads, and have a blast. Here's Capt and Bieber too. All right, Dave, same time next week. And don't tell anybody my secret. All right, later.
I've also seen the head boats have made a few runs when we got a little weather window over the weekend. It wasn't so windy, wasn't quite as cold. And a couple of the boats headed out. Francis Fleet, I know, had a pretty good day on their one run. They had, they said they stopped in one spot where the cod bite was really good. They had a bunch of choggies. They had a few other bottom species. By and large, it was a good day on the water, and they're just going to be looking and watching the weather, and said that, you know, the next time they get another weather window, they're definitely going to be heading out. So you want to check their social media if you want to get out and fill the freezer, or just, you know, clear the winter cobwebs. You can get out on the ocean with them, and you know, do some awesome bottom fishing, which has been very good for them. Along the South Shore, I haven't heard of anybody striped bass fishing up inside the salt ponds. I think probably a lot of those are skimmed over as well. And over the weekend, we did hear about some guys getting on the ice in some of those coastal ponds, doing some jigging for trout and whatnot. First ice is always the best ice, and that has held true in Rhode Island, and that's what I have for you guys in the Ocean State this week. Crossing over into Connecticut. Connecticut is pretty well known for its ice fishing, and there's a couple different regions within the state that kind of you know, draw a lot of angler interest from ice fishermen. You got the northwest corner, which is typically the first place in southern New England that gets safe ice. You also have Candlewood Lake, which I'm not sure how safe Candlewood is. A pretty big lake, but some of those coves might be frozen over, and as things progress, as the winter progresses and hopefully we get some more colder weather, that could be a great place to get out there and put in some time and find some of the varied species that live in there. But the main attraction inside Connecticut is the Connecticut River, which is a super unique fishery. There's a lot of different species that live in there, and we have all these coves and ponds that sort of go off the river, and they hold a myriad of species of fish. You know, everything from panfish like white perch, yellow perch, and crappie, to largemouth bass, to striped bass, to smallmouth bass. Probably get some snakehead through the ice. And the big thing, though, is the pike. The pike fishing on the Connecticut River is probably some of the best pike fishing you're going to find anywhere in New England. And that has held true again this week. Saw many nice pike that came through the ice on the Connecticut River, including another monster from Dan Southwick. This one just under 30 pounds at 29 pounds. And I don't know what cove it was caught on, and I don't blame him for not telling me. But this is a titanic fish, and just highlights what's possible on the Connecticut River, and also highlights that, you know, the thing that I keep saying, that first ice is the best ice. So, you know, keep your eye on the coves. From what I've been hearing, they are plenty safe and should continue to be that way. Just got to watch those edges. And for a little bit more on that, let's check in now with Rowan Lytle.
Hey everybody, wind and cold continue to be the story, and the ice is building still in many parts of the Connecticut River Valley. Now, I'm still kind of sticking to the ponds and lakes up away from the river a little bit, but we've had enough calm days that I'm sure some of the coves have started to build some safe ice. I haven't been out personally on any of the coves yet, so I can't really attest to that, but the conditions have been prime, and it will continue to be fairly cold, although we're getting above freezing a few times in the next week or so. I don't anticipate that to really kill the ice. There's not much rain in the forecast, and that's really what does it in. You know, a few hours in the mid 30s to 40s, not really going to do too much. Some of the ponds have as much as 5 or 6 inches, so definitely more and more encouraging for safe ice going into next week, and it really does look like we should be in for decent ice through much of the rest of the next month or so. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So panfish through the ice and pike through the ice are really what it's about now. Get out there and enjoy it while we have it.
I was talking with Captain Mike Roy yesterday about some articles he's going to write for us in the coming season, and thought we'd check in with him as well. Here's a report from Mike.
Hey, what's up everybody? For this week's report, going through some new gear. So I'm going to show you one setup I have. Now this is for the real high-end, top-of-the-line performance right here. This is the G Loomis NRX Plus. This is the 843C. This is the lightest setup you're going to find on the market. This has Spiral X technology, which is carbon tape on the rod to increase strength and rigidity, but it keeps it lightweight, and you really got to pick this rod up to believe how light this is. Now this is kind of the ultimate rod for that finesse fishing. I have the Shimano Xsense 3000 spinning reel on this. This is part of the MGL rotor series, or the Mag Light series. So this is Shimano's real lightest weight series, and it has that MGL rotor, which is carbon and magnesium for super lightweight and low startup inertia and stop inertia. So it's really designed for that finesse fishing where you're doing a lot of stop and go with the retrieve, and you want something really smooth and really lightweight, very little to no inertia to turn that handle. I have this with 10-pound Power Pro Super Slick. It holds 150 yards of that, and this setup is, man, unbelievable how lightweight this is. Now I'm getting ready to head down to Louisiana next week. We're going to be fishing for bull reds, so stay tuned for that. If you're interested in doing some of those destination trips, I'm going to be doing those every year, so reach out to me. That's all I have for you. Thanks.
Now we're going to head way inland to one of the open water options we have in Connecticut, and that is the Farmington River, where ice is probably becoming a little bit more of an issue, but you can still get it done. Here's Derrick Kirkpatrick from Connecticut Fish Guides.
Hi Dave, coming to you today from my office. Extended weather looks really cold. For the Farmington River and other trout streams in the state, I would look to target the days, if you want to get out, that overnight is not super cold. So in your low teens and single digits, the river is going to be slushed up, and you may only have a 2-hour window in the latter part of the day. Now that's not to say you can't catch fish. You can catch some really good high quality larger browns during that window. But most likely you're going to be, pounding it out for one fish. So, if you're not sure about making the trek to the river, by all means, it's a good time to stay in, tie some flies. Or if you ice fish, a lot of our lakes and ponds are locking up. Now that's also going to pull definitely some fly fishermen off the Farmington. So I would look for higher overnight temps. You're not going to get above freezing, obviously, with the extended, but you can get into the mid-20s. And on those days, you're going to have definitely a larger window to fish. Entomology-wise, I'd be looking mostly probably for midges, smaller bugs, and I would target water that's softer, where they don't have to work hard, but yet where there's no ice. So you are going to have ice shelves on the river. Don't walk on them and fish from them. That can be very dangerous unless you know it's really skinny water. The other thing is handling of trout. So anytime it's below freezing, you're in danger of injuring their gills or their eyes, right? So if you do catch a fish, you're going to want to keep it in the water. If you're going to take a photo, I prefer to take photos in the net, in the water when it's that cold. But if you are going to lift a fish, lift it, put it right back down and get them back quickly. It's definitely a dangerous time for some of these fish, especially the larger fish that spawned. They're heading into the deep of winter, and they're still kind of licking their wounds from the spawn. So it's important that we handle those fish with care, especially because we want those fish, to be around so we catch them again, but also they're going to spawn the following year. Outside of midges, I would recommend jigs and stuff like that. A larger piece of meat that they may be more inclined to move for, considering that it's so cold. It will be well worth their while for those fish to move for those opportunities of larger food. However, they're not going to really chase it down. So you're going to want to fish that stuff really slow, almost at a dead drift. And outside of that, you might see some case caddis here or there, but really we're looking for a bump and flow with that. Some golden stones on the Farmington, your larger stones, size 12, 10, 8s. That could be another a good fly to deploy. And then outside of that, you have some hydropsyche. Your Hendrickson nymphs could be relevant on some days and not others. Back to you, Dave.
Heading back down to the coast, let's check in with Matt Stone from Black Hall Outfitters.
What's up, everyone? Matt from Black Hall Outfitters in Westbrook here with this week's fishing report. It is cold. Mostly ice everywhere. Even some of the tidal creeks and rivers are having some good chunks of ice. It's going to make it pretty tough to go for any holdover schoolies and things like that. So your best bet is probably finding some fast-moving water for trout or salmon, or obviously ice fishing if you can find some safe ice somewhere. That's about all that's going on right here in the middle of winter, and I hope everyone enjoys it and stay warm.
And then heading west, we have lots of safe ice, just probably 15, 20 miles inland from the coast. The Housatonic is still putting out fish, although the bite has slowed down a bit, and they have had some issues with ice floating down the river at times. And for a little bit more on that and some of the other things going on in the western part of the state, let's check in now with Max Finch from Fisherman's World.
Hey everyone, Max here from Fisherman's World with another local fishing report. This past week, we've seen some really nice stripers taken on the Housatonic. It was hard fishing it because we heard there was a lot of ice coming down and debris from the runoff and the snow they had upstate. But the fish are still biting. If you put your time in and bounce around, you still can find some fish. We saw some fish in like the 30 to high 30-inch class. Other than that, there's been still some rumors of herring floating around Norwalk Harbor, Stamford Harbor, and Bridgeport Harbor. It hasn't been fantastic, but the guys that are really putting their time in and bouncing all around, they are finding some here and there. Hopefully it gets better moving through the winter. And then freshwater guys are hitting the local trout streams. They're catching trout and trout magnets, rooster tails, you name it. And then also this week we saw guys hitting the Naugatuck for the salmon. And remember, you got to use a single free swinging hook. Thanks and good luck.
And that's what I have for you guys in the reports this week. Hopefully it's going to inspire you to get out there. It looks like we've got some more cold weather. We have one warm day. Looks like Saturday is going to be pretty warm, maybe up close to 50 degrees, which is going to wreak havoc on some of the coastal ice. But I think a lot of the inland ice, which is a lot thicker, is going to survive that. And then we go right back down into the teens early next week. So I'm expecting ice fishing to continue. And I'd love to see more photos from you guys and hear more reports. If you're not a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, I highly recommend you head over to our website. That's thefisherman.com. You're going to get a full taste of what we offer. We cover all the fishing, including ice fishing, from offshore to inshore to surf, freshwater travel. It's all covered. We do tackle making. We do all kinds of product reviews. It's $31.95 for a year. You're going to get 12 paper issues sent to your house. You're going to get 26 digital editions sent to your email. And you're going to get digital access to all the back issues, plus our other 2 editions. Wow, here comes the wind. That's New Jersey, Delaware, and the Long Island edition. It's the best $32 you can spend in fishing. There's no disputing that. But if you're not interested, if you check the website, at the very least, give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube and hit that little bell thing right there so you get a notification every time we post something new. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.